Hello, Driving Intelligence community. Well, lately I've been noticing that my steering doesn't feel as accurate as it used to be, and I'm wondering if the steering box is starting to show some wear. It takes a little bit more steering input, plus when I'm going over uneven road surfaces, it feels like the vehicle wants to steer itself. I'm going to check out the steering at the steering box to see if that needs some adjustment. Sometimes some wear shows up in there, and as I understand it, you can make a slight adjustment and improve the steering response significantly. Before I get into the adjustment process, I want to go over some of the other causes of poor steering response. Suspension components like tie rods, ball joints, and wheel bearings could be worn. Tire pressures could be too low or your tires could be worn. Shock absorbers could be bad. Front end alignment could be off, and actually your steering box could also be bad. After ruling out all those possibilities, what you'll want to do is check your steering input. So you'll slightly turn this steering wheel with the engine off in a static position and watch your tires at the same time. What you want is a little bit of play in there before the tires actually turn. I've already done the tightening on this, so I've removed about 50% of the play in the steering. It was moving about an inch to an inch and a half before. You can see now it's about a half an inch before I get any resistance and any movement in the tire. To get to the adjusting screw on the steering box, it's directly below the cowling, the fan cowling. Now, if you have a clutch-driven fan, it's going to be a little difficult for you, but for me, since I've got a conversion kit for electric cooling fan, which I'll link below, then it's going to make it very easy for me to remove this and get to it. I got to start off by taking off the jacking rod, which I've already done. Then I can take off this plastic piece by removing these push pins. That gives me access to the cooling fan shroud. With everything removed, I've got direct access to that steering box. You can see it right down there, and it's really easy to see because I've got this light from Next LED that I'll link below. Great product, spans the hood, really lights up the engine bay. Now let's get that thing cleaned up. With it cleaned up, I'm ready to get started on the tightening process. Now, the process says that, first of all, you need to mark location. So you can see I've got a white mark that corresponds here, and you should only turn this a quarter turn tightening in this direction, clockwise, and then test drive it to make sure that you don't over tighten the box, which could cause some binding and some safety issues. This vehicle's got 234,000 miles on it, so it's probably got some wear. And I don't think I mentioned earlier that with the bigger wheels and tires, I think that's caused some increased wear on this, so that's why I need to adjust it, whereas I'd never had to adjust it before. It takes a 16 millimeter box wrench on the lock nut and then a 3/16 Allen that goes into the center, which is what you're going to use to tighten this up. As you can see, I've tightened it a quarter turn, and I'm going to put everything back together and test this. I think that hopefully that's enough. I don't want to have to take everything apart again to do this. But as you can see, it's rather difficult to get in here without removing the cowling on the fan. So it is a bit of a process, but I'm hoping that I actually got enough tightening in there to improve the driving experience. Everything is mechanically reconnected so I can drive this vehicle. I just have not put the top plastic piece on and the trim on top of the throttle body. I want to minimize the amount of work I got to do if I have to do some adjustments if I'm not happy with the results. By the way, don't forget to check out that Next LED light below. There's a great link for that, and it's a fantastic light. But now I'm going to go take it for a test drive. The improvement in steering accuracy and precision is dramatic. I'm really impressed with this. I ended up doing a half turn increase in tension. I tightened it up by half a turn. So that was 2 quarter turns. I urge you to go through a quarter turn first and see how it feels. You don't want to over tighten. But the improvement is, like I said, is dramatic. I really like what this has done. And I'm sure you will too if you've got any wander in your vehicle, and it's also a high mileage vehicle. So get this done. Leave a comment below, tell me how it went, and give me that thumbs up, and I'll see you next time on Driving Intelligence.